Wild Lives by Faunographic.
Hey, I'm Rochelle and welcome to Wild Lives by Faunographic. Today we're sharing the story of Andre Bauma, who has devoted his life to caring for the orphaned mountain gorillas of Virunga National Park, which is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Andre's story is one of the most inspiring I've ever heard, so I'm thrilled that he's taken the time out of his important work to talk to us today. But before we speak to Andre, we need to have a quick look at Virunga and why these mountain gorillas have been orphaned.
Founded in 1925, the World Heritage listed Virunga is the oldest national park in Africa. It spans some 7,800 square kilometres, or 3,000 square miles, and shares borders with Rwanda and Uganda. It is known to be the most biodiverse protected area on the entire African continent. But human conflict is taking its toll on the park. The area is under constant threat of oil exploration, and the illegal charcoal trade is causing deforestation. Wildlife poaching and the bushmeat trade are also rife, and conflict continues to take the lives of not only the rare mountain gorillas, but also of the rangers protecting them. Although there are around 800 rangers defending the park, there's also up to 2,000 militia living in and around it. In fact, by May 2018, at least 176 rangers had been killed while defending Virunga and its precious gorillas.
Virunga is one of the most volatile places on Earth, but it's also one of the most biodiverse. Within the park's boundaries there are dense forests, soaring mountains, active volcanoes, swamps, valleys and sprawling savannas. It's home to an incredible range of bird, reptile and mammal species, including the forest elephant, chimpanzee, lowland gorilla, the super rare okapi and, of course, the mountain gorilla. Now, these guys are critically endangered and there are only around 880 of them left on the entire planet. Virunga is home to about a quarter of them. Sadly, though, mountain gorillas can become orphaned because of the area's human-inflicted challenges. And that's where Andre and his colleagues at Senkwekwe come into the story.
The Senkwekwe Centre for Gorilla Orphans first opened its doors in 2008 and is based at the Virunga National Park headquarters in Ramangabo. Over the years, it's been home to several orphan gorillas who witnessed the murders of their families or were victimised by poachers and traffickers. The centre was named after the dominant silverback of the Rugendo group, who was murdered in 2007. Today, there are 4 gorillas living at the centre, and they're looked after by 7 carers.
Andre Bauma is the head gorilla carer at the Senkwekwe Centre. Growing up in a small town called Masisi in North Kivu, he lived alongside many animals as his family kept cows and goats and sheep and rabbits, as well as one particular kitty who Andre became best friends with. Then, when he was 16, he discovered Virunga's mountain gorillas.
I grew up in a family where we raised different kinds of animals, such as cows, goats, sheep, and rabbits. I enjoyed taking care of them, extracting milk, looking after their offspring, but also we had a cat, and that cat was my best friend. I shared bed and had fun every now and then, and that is how I started loving and sharing much respect to animals. When I was 16 years old, I have watched a documentary about Virunga at our school. And after watching the film, I became inspired to work for the park to help protect the wildlife and the park's gorillas. I knew from this moment that this was what I wanted to do for my job.
In 1998, Andre started working in Virunga, first as a park ranger, and then he spent 4 years in the field as a mountain gorilla guide. During his time with the wild gorillas, he got to learn a lot about their various behaviours and also how to communicate with them. Here, he demonstrates their various types of communication and explains the different meanings behind their vocalisations. He also explains why they beat their chests and why they kick each other.
When you stay for a long time with gorillas, you can easily communicate with them. From my experience from the wild gorillas in the forest for 4 years, and I could watch how they make sounds, how they treat each other, and for gorillas, each sound means something. It's a message that they are sending. But for example, I can know a sound which means it's like a greeting to let you know that everything is okay for them, everything, they are safe. Yeah, like this. That time, gorillas are good. It's something to welcome you. You are allowed to approach them. But a gorilla can tell you, I don't want something what you are doing. Can say, oh. This is saying, no, I don't want this. But for a male gorilla, when he is angry, you can hear this sound. That time you must know that the male gorilla doesn't want you just go away, don't approach them. So many sounds, and sometimes they can lose a leader, they are not happy, and you can understand this sound. That means they are not happy, they don't have a leader. They have lost one member who is very important. But gorillas can also communicate through beating chest. When one gorilla can beat the chest, especially for young gorilla, the female, it's just to show you that they are happy. But for the male gorilla, when he beats the chest, now it can be when the man is telling to the family that he wants to go somewhere else. Now follow me. And when he beats his chest, now the whole family will follow him. But when there is a danger in the group, the chief or the boss of the family can beat the chest to let know the whole family that there is a danger, to let know the enemy that he is ready to fight against him. Now, they can communicate in different ways. And for young gorillas, when they want to play, a gorilla can kick the other one he wants to play with, just to invite him or her to the game. Now, every time with gorillas, you can easily understand how they communicate, and you can also use those gestures or sound just to communicate with them.
In 2007, one of the famous wild mountain gorilla families in Virunga, called the Kabaritsi family, was viciously attacked. Illegal charcoal producers believed that if they killed off Virunga's gorillas, there'd be no incentive for people to protect the national park, so they could keep producing illegal charcoal. So they shot and killed Nsekoye, a breastfeeding mother from the Kabaritsi gorilla family. Nsekoye was shot in the head, execution style, while her 2-month-old baby was still attached to her breast. This infant, a female called Ndakasi, was found clinging to her mother, barely alive, starving and critically dehydrated. Andre, who was working as a ranger at the time, was one of her rescuers. Here he shares the incredible story of what happened when he found Ndakasi, explains the desperate steps he took to keep her alive on their first night together, and then tells us why they went on to the city of Goma.
I do remember the first time I met Ndakasi. I met her on June 9, 2007. It was a very sad situation. We met a very small baby of 2 months old, and her weight was 2.4 kilograms. She's a baby who was born in Kabiri's family. Her mother was killed by people with no sense of civic duty, the poacher. But we met her 24 hours after her mother's death. The baby was really in a very poor condition because of cold, hunger, thirst. I was very pitiful and desperate as for her survival. But I tried anyway to do something for her to increase her chance of surviving. What I did, it was trying to take a carton and pack the cotton in it and then put Ndakasi inside. And on top of that, I covered Ndakasi with a towel, trying to give her milk from the ranger's ration. But she could even swallow a drop of milk because she was very, very weak. But later it was my bedtime, and I thought that if I left Ndakasi alone in the carton, I cannot know what will happen to her during over the night. And now, when it was my bedtime, I removed her from her carton and took her on my chest to provide warmth. I also covered her with 2 blankets. In this way, I was able to know how she was, how will be her situation during the night. Now, when I was a baby on my chest, later around midnight, I felt the baby was trying to drink milk from my chest. She was thinking that she was on the chest of her mother. Now, I woke up and trying to give her milk, and that time she was having a small amount of milk, and until the morning I was giving her milk several times. And the morning I saw the baby open her eyes and moving. Now I said, this is something good, we are lucky. And now I went with the baby in Goma, where we had gorilla doctors, and gorilla doctors welcomed me and provided me everything I was in need to look after Ndakasi. And together, gorilla doctors, Jan Fosse Gorilla Fund International, and Virunga, we were able to take care of the baby, Ndakasi. It was something very hard, but when we were all together, the work was good and we succeed.
On July 22, 2007, and barely a month after Andre had rescued Ndakasi, the murderers struck again. This time their killing spree was even more violent, as they brutally massacred members of the Rugendo mountain gorilla family. One of those victims was the family's silverback Kodson Kwekwe, and the gorilla orphanage was later named in his honour. Another family member killed in the massacre was Safari, a young mother whose baby daughter, Ndeze, survived. 2 days after the murder, rangers found Ndeze being looked after by her older brother, Kongomani, who had rescued her during the attack and had carried her on his back to safety. Sadly, Ndeze was only 5 months old and was still being breastfed by her mother, which is something Kongomani was unable to help her with. But luckily, Virunga rangers found the pair of them before tragedy could strike again. Kongomani stayed in the wild with the other adult survivors of the Rugendo massacre, while Ndeze was brought to Goma, where she was placed into Andre's care alongside Ndakasi.
1 month after Ndakasi's mother died, we had a gorilla massacre. It's something which shocked the whole world. 6 gorillas were killed in the Rugendo family, including Ndeze's mother. 2 days after the death of some members of Ndeze's family, we met Ndeze's brother, who had rescued Ndeze and had Ndeze on his back. Unfortunately, her brother didn't have milk to feed the baby Ndeze because she was a baby of 5 months old. Something very important it was to recuperate Ndeze and put her in the place where we can look after her, giving her milk, do everything for her, and that's why we have taken Ndeze out of the forest, out of her family. But we had 2 days without eating anything. She was really very hungry. But when I met her, I tried to give her milk and took her in Goma, where we had also Ndakasi. And for Ndeze, it was not easy to look after her in Goma, in town, because she had already experienced the natural life. Imagine, she was in the forest, she was among gorillas, but in Goma, suddenly, she was in a house with electricity, with water, and she was around people and not gorillas. Now, every time she was crying, ooh, 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 and looking for other gorillas. It was something very strange for her to be in Goma. But after 3 days, now she understood that she has no choice and she has to stay with us. Now, when she approached me, and it was a good moment now to do everything for her, to stay with her every time, day and night, and sleep together at the same bed, do everything good so that she can feel like she was in her own family. And slowly now, and Ndeze had understand that she is in a good family. She is among her friends.
Today at the Nkwekwe Centre, Ndakasi and Ndeze live with 2 other orphans called Musuka and Matabishi. While each orphan has had their own traumatic history, Andre explains that today they all function as one family, albeit without a chief at the moment. Andre says that Ndeze would make the best leader, but the stronger Ndakasi and the male Matabishi both seem to want to be in charge. It can make for some fun family interactions.
Musuka, Ndeze, Ndakasi and Matabishi each came from a different family, but at Nkwekwe, together they are in a family, and they know they are in the same family. But among them, we have friends, and we have some individuals who can fight because of food, because of leadership. You know, when we have more than one gorilla among them, you must have a boss, a chief among them. But for now, Ndeze is the one who can be a good leader, because she is calm, she is very intelligent and responsible, but she is not stronger than Ndakasi. Ndakasi is the one who wants to be a leader, but she doesn't have the leading capacity. And Matabishi as a man is someone who wants now to lead the group, but Ndakasi cannot accept that. For now, I do not know to say exactly who is the boss of the family, but they know they are in the same family, even though they can fight, but sometimes they can work together, they can share food together, play together, but among them we have friends, and the other, each one can have his friends.
The gorilla carers start every day at the Nkwekwe Centre by providing an early breakfast for their 4 orphans, followed by playtime outside and then more food.
At Nkwekwe, our job every day is to make sure they have everything they need, like food to prevent them from catching human disease, and to play with the gorillas. But in the morning time, we wake up at 5:30 so that we can get ready their breakfast, and their breakfast is tea and porridge. And after that, we put forest food and other food we buy from the market, and after having their breakfast, we let them to go outside, and that time they can eat when they want, they can walk, they can climb up trees, they can play each other. Now, We can give them food 5 times a day. We have to monitor their health and report to the Virunga authorities and to the gorilla doctors.
The incredible team at Virunga, which includes everyone from the rangers to the field guides, from the orphan carers to the National Park support staff. All of these people are deeply committed to protecting the mountain gorillas. In fact, sometimes they even put their lives at risk for them. Andre reveals what keeps them going.
The gorillas are very important for Virunga and for Congo. They are endangered species and we must do everything we can to protect the gorillas. And the local community understands the importance of protecting the gorillas. And everyone knows if we lose gorillas, we cannot find them anywhere else on this earth. So it's very important for everyone to protect them. Everyone working in Virunga is committed to protecting the park and the wildlife that lives in it. And here where I work at the Sempoko Center, we do everything we can to ensure those gorillas, those orphans, are safe and well. And we have more tourists, we have more visitors come to visit Virunga because of gorillas. So they are very important for me.
Thanks for listening. Now, Andre and the Virunga team are facing enormous challenges on the ground, but it's easy to show your support for their work wherever you may be. You can go and visit them as a tourist at Virunga because tourism does benefit the entire community, or you can get involved by supporting their various programs. To learn more about those, simply log on to www.visitvirunga.org, and I'll also post more information on faunographic.com, so check that out too. Catch you next time.
Wild Lives by Faunographic. Follow us on omni.fm or search for Wild Lives by Faunographic on iTunes. Subscribe today and you'll never miss an episode.